What's going on, guys? I'm Dave, and in this video, I'm going to let you know about some of the newest Asian food spots that have opened up in and around Denver over the past few months. Some of them are in the burbs, some are in Aurora, because that's just kind of how Asian food works in Denver, and some are chains, but they're the good kind. Most importantly, I think all of these are good, so they're worth adding to your list. So if you've been looking for some new Asian food spots to check out around Denver, let's get right into this video. Let's kick things off with Tiger Sugar, a beloved boba chain from Taiwan that recently opened in Aurora to a lot of love from the teen and millennial crowd. If you've had Tiger Sugar before, you know why this has a lot of hype. They specialize in brown sugar bobas that taste as good as they look. And this is certainly not the only brown sugar boba in town. You can get them at Kung Fu Tea, at Ding Tea, and a bunch of other places, but there's something a little special about how they make these smooth, sugary bobas at Tiger Sugar. So if you're into these brown sugar bobas, these are some of the best in Denver, but if you get them, just make sure to give them a really good shake, because the bobas that they make there are pretty warm, so you'll want to make sure that they're really mixed in with your drink. Tiger Sugar has a lot of hype and it's super busy. It's right off Parker Road near Popeyes in Aurora. If you know where that is, definitely check it out. Next up, we've got Ent Thai Food in Lone Tree, which opened up in the spot formerly occupied by Urban Village. And it's much nicer inside than you'd expect. It's much nicer than your neighborhood Thai spot, and it's still a good place for families. It opened up super close to K Plus Cajun, which I've mentioned in some of my other videos, which is one of my favorite places to get crawfish around Denver. To me, this is some of the best Thai food in the South Denver suburbs. It's up there with Dancing Noodle in Parker. It tastes a little bit cleaner than a Greasy Spoon Thai restaurant. The flavors are really good, and they have a good amount of spice here as well. A couple quick disclaimers on Ent. They do spice pretty legit here, so if you are not a spicy food person, you might want to stick with the milds because even the mediums have some pretty good kick, and staffing has been pretty tough for them, it seems like. So if you order takeout, I would not show up early right now. Typically, they're running about 15 to 20 minutes behind in my experience when I've gotten food from here. It's just a tough time for all restaurants, but keep that in mind. Take your time. If you're enjoying learning about these new restaurants, please give this video a like to help more people learn about them. Now back to the video. Let's head back to Parker Road for my favorite place on this list, Tasty Pot in Aurora. I know Tasty Pot is a chain, but I was really pumped to have it in Colorado. If you haven't had Tasty Pot before, they make individual hot pot bowls that are completely ready to roll. This is not a place where you have to cook the food yourself, but the bowls are really flavorful and filled with really, really good ingredients. So this isn't your typical all-you-can-eat hot pot place or a place where you're gonna sit for over an hour cooking your food and getting your broth just right. You just look on the menu, see what looks good, order it, it comes out, and you get to work. I'm not ashamed to admit that sometimes I eat for volume, especially when it comes to hot pot and all you can eat. But when you go to Tasty Pot, you're eating more for flavor. You're just getting one super flavorful bowl of hot pot. If you're used to those all-you-can-eat prices, this might seem pretty expensive, but people love this place for a reason. Also, another reason why I like this place is that it's not always easy to get hot pot to go, because how would you get all the toppings, do the broth right, and all of that stuff? But you can get your food to go at Tasty Pot. It's pretty much like ordering ramen, except that it doesn't turn into like a coagulated solid of fat. You take it home, it's still super hot. It's pretty much just like you'd have it at the restaurant. And the good part is that you don't feel ripped off because you didn't take advantage of all you can eat because, you know, they're just individual bowls. So if you're ever craving hot pot, check out Tasty Pot. It's a different take on hot pot that's finally made it to Colorado, and I think it's really good. Next, these two places aren't necessarily new, but they're new locations right next to each other in the Park Meadows Mall. It's Urban Village Grill and Sushi Ramen. Like I mentioned earlier, Urban Village's original location is now Ent Thai Food, and I was super sad when it closed at the start of COVID because it was one of my favorite new restaurants in Denver and one of the best places to get a modern take on Indian food. Also, I know that a lot of people think of Indian food as its own genre, but I really just wanted to give it a shout out in this video because I like it that much. And now Urban Village is back as Urban Village Grill at the Park Meadows Mall. It's a higher end take on Indian food. They still do the classics really, really well. The chef is from New York. The food here is really bomb. If you missed out on Urban Village the first time before they closed, now you have a second shot. Next, Sushi Ramen is my favorite ramen place in the South Denver suburbs. suburbs. Their original location is near Pindustry in Greenwood Village, and now they have this second location that is also still pretty small like the original and keeps those vibes going, but it's at the mall. If you haven't been to Sukiya before, it's solid all around. They have ramen from all different areas of Japan, and the menu is pretty much what you'd expect at a really good ramen place. Park Meadows Mall is actually getting some pretty good food these days. They already have Ito Higan for sushi, they have GQ, which everyone knows is probably the best barbecue in the suburbs, and now they have Sukiya, and they have Urban Village Grill. Mall food is getting a lot better. Okay, so this next one just opened and I haven't had the chance to go here yet, but the reviews have been really good so far, so I wanted to give it a quick shout out. Wellness Sushi is a plant-based Japanese restaurant that's 100% vegan. They do sushi, ramen, and Japanese dishes, all without any meat products. If you haven't been to a vegan Japanese place before, they're generally pretty good. I've been to a bunch of them in LA and San Francisco, and sometimes they're among some of my favorite restaurants in a city. People have been saying really good things about Wellness Sushi. I'm actually working on a vegan/vegetarian video, so more on this soon. I know I haven't been here yet, but I will. If you're looking for Asian food in Denver, and especially looking for something new, I hope that this video gave you a few new spots to check out. I also want to take a second to say goodbye, and we'll miss you to Third Culture Bakery. The Mochi Bakery shop will be moving out of Colorado at the end of the year. I used to always stop by their original location, and they're shutting them both down, so we'll miss you, Third Culture. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like or share it with that friend who's always down to check out new restaurants with you. Those are my kind of people. Thanks so much for watching and have fun checking out all these new restaurants.